Next team now, Utah Jazz. So
Ugh.
breaking news today was that Quinn Snyder resigned from his position
That's
as head
tough.
coach. One thing
I
I
think
do
that's
want
the
to
start of the turmoil, man. I really do.
one thing I do want to say about that, I think that I think what he said in his or at least in his quote, he was completely honest.
Hmm.
They need a new voice because I think he even knew that they reached their potential.
With him.
Yeah, with him as a head coach, we've all associated them as just being a regular season team.
Damn good regular season team, though.
Yeah, really good
But
regular season team, but yeah.
Now,
go ahead.
Here's my thing with that take on the Quinn Snyder thing. I never thought it was his problem at all.
No.
Now,
I think he's a phenomenal coach, actually,
now,
and he's kind of getting the short end. It seems to be a trend.
Exactly. Now, the issue that they needed to be dealing with is what they have to deal with now.
Yep.
Do you break up Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell? Now, the reason I'm saying this is this. According to 538, Donovan Mitchell ranks 256 on defense. So, but when he's on the floor with Rudy and the rest of the guys, the defense efficiency is number one in the NBA.
Yep.
Now, my only thing is with Rudy off the floor, the Jazz still can't play defense. They revert all the way back down to 21st. And they were with the Lakers and everybody last year. We watched some Lakers clips of some really, really bad defense last year. Now, with that being said, do you keep Rudy? That's your defensive anchor right there.
Yeah.
But also, do you keep Donovan Mitchell, who's, I'll be honest, his perimeter defense needs help. His clutch shooting, he shot about 28% in the clutch this year. And then on top of that, he's really bothered by the moves that's going on right now.
That's what I was going to say. It felt, if I'm going to be honest, and I think this is a hot take because I think a lot of people for me, I feel like a lot of people like to dislike Rudy Gobert.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I understand he struggles offensively if he's not directly under the rim.
He's a superstar in his defensive role right now. That's what it is.
But in that duo that they have, I feel Donovan Mitchell has been the one that's kind of been lackluster, especially this past season. When it comes down to games in the playoffs, which is where they keep getting to and where they keep falling short, the game comes down to a bucket. It's who can get a bucket when you need it. Yes. And you're that guy. Gobert's getting the stops. You're that guy. You got to put the ball in the cup. And I just think he keeps falling short. I mean, 2 years ago they were 3-1 up on the Mavericks?
Was that Nuggets? That was the Nuggets.
The Nuggets, yeah, that was last year. The playoffs, yeah. I mean,
and the birth of Jamal Murray.
But now
he went nutty, bro.
Now, one thing I do want to ask though about Donovan Mitchell. So everybody's he's a next coming of D Wade, all this stuff. Now, I think that people are overhyping him to really be this impactful player. I personally don't think he's that impactful, if we're being completely honest.
All right. No, now I'm not going to go that far. And say
that was tough.
I just don't think he's that much of an impact on winning. I think if you put him on the Knicks aren't going to be anything either.
But also, too, the one thing I think that goes with that is this: if we watch Donovan Mitchell's game into a real detailed thing, it's the shot selection for me.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
Because the years when they were number one in the NBA and we trying to push our way through the second round, was that Donovan Mitchell was putting the ball in the cup at an efficient rate.
Yeah, getting to
the basket, his jump shot falling. I feel like once he lost his, I don't want to say interest or love with the team.
Feels like interest, so it really does.
It's all right, my guy, his numbers are coming down. The clutch shooting in the performance because I call him Mr. Do It All himself because he's trying to do it all on his own in the clutch.
Right.
It's not much passing. So when you look at that, I think it has to take a mature step in his game, but I don't think he needs to stay in Utah to make that next step. Now, you say put him in New York, give him a new change of scenery. If his shot selection changes, he can be very dangerous. He showed you he could put up a 30 ball. He showed you he could put up 40, 50.
Yeah.
He can do it. It's just about how efficient you can do it. And when the lights come on in the playoffs, do it there.
You got to be there.
And be there. That's my thing.
I like that a lot.
But do y'all...
I don't think... Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll save it for later.
Well, I'm going to say, in terms of if they choose to keep both of them, you got Mike Conley here, 22 mil. I mean, What a regression in a career, though, man.
That was a mistake, in my opinion. That trade was a mistake.
And then Bogdanovich, 20. I like Jordan Clarkson. You made the acquisition of Alexander Walker at the deadline. But, like, I don't see too much that you can really do with this roster. Nothing too intriguing for trade pieces outside of your big two.
Now, if they do keep them together, my thing is this. Like, yes, Danny, I do believe that Mike Conley trade was a bad trade. Only because now the trade was made. I don't think a lot of people understood. That trade was made to have somebody control the game, especially down the stretch.
Yeah.
It just wasn't expectations. It didn't meet expectations.
Like when you got Donovan Mitchell doing that down the stretch, that's somebody like your point guard or your leader that needs to round him in and be like, hey, or a vet, round him in and bring him back down. Not keep giving him the basketball. So I think attacking somebody, like attacking a point guard with their draft pick. No, they don't even have draft picks this year. That's another bad
they have nothing.
And then on top of that, Bogdan Bogdanovic is in his final year. Move him. I love him. I really do. Move him. Go get another piece.
You're gonna have
that's only if you stay with who you have. And I just don't think it's gonna work if you stay with who you have with somebody who is showing you he is not happy at all. And he loved D Wade and all. He is just not happy in Utah.
Now, I would say this. I would say the best fits for him, I would put Miami number one because Miami has been vying for that.
They need a scorer.
I
don't know if it's Mitchell, but they do need a scorer.
Now, the reason why I'm not going Miami is because of Mitchell's defense. You're not about to send him somewhere.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Is
Eric Spoelstra has showed you, I don't care if you can score.
Doing it with Oladipo right now.
He did it with Oladipo and Duncan Robinson can shoot the cover off the ball, all because they can't play defense. They minutes have been taking a hit.
On top of that, too, if you're going to tell me that he's been at Utah for all these years and they're that good defensively, what's going to change if he goes to Miami? Miami's that good defensively, and obviously if Mitchell never got interested playing defense on the best team defensively in the West, he's not going to get interest in.
But that's where I'm kind of going with it, is that I think that if you put him, because obviously we hear that everybody wants him to probably go to the Knicks or anything like that.
That's
but for me,
the big story. Yeah.
For me, more of like a culture, more of like embodying a culture. I think that is the only one that really makes sense to where he can put that effort and can actually be that player that everybody is saying that he can be.
It's going to be a big mental switch. I think Jimmy would be huge on that.
That's what I'm saying. He's
going
to be held accountable. I feel like those are possible destinations.
I would say I've heard Brad Beal as well, possibly to Miami. I think Miami's going to need that score.
Yeah.
Well, also, too, Brad Beal can sit and play defense. I would take Brad Beal.
And he's more of a playmaker as well.
Yes, I would take Brad Beal over Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, his best fit to me.
They'd be scary, Miami.
With Beal. If you talk about a mindset, go play with Charlotte. Okay? They all young, and all they want to do is go outscore guys.
I think Charlotte needs to go get Rudy.
Yeah, like Rudy. Yeah, because they got Mason Plumlee inside. That's the issue.
That's the issue.
And I would like to see a front court. Yeah, get Montrezl Harrell and Rudy inside. Y'all ain't scored a bucket. But the issue is, but that's the biggest thing too, though, with Rudy Gobert. My man's points, 28.7% of his offense is literally second chance rebound, like second chance points. So he getting an offensive rebound and going back up, or he catching a lot. And I'm not
right under the rim.
Right now. The reason why I even say let go of Rudy is because he's just a clock, okay? Why? He doesn't have a post game that much. He's just there on offense. That's the issue. He's just there. So, like, if nobody help, boom. All right, Rudy don't get a bucket. And then when you go back to defense and why teams are picking them apart.
I was just about to say that. Yep.
Why teams are picking them apart is because, watch, you don't have no perimeter defense in Utah.
Drag him out.
So now once I get inside and Rudy brings himself over to help, look at Dallas. Maxi Kleber, bucket. Davis Bertans, bucket.
100%.
And now that's becoming an issue. And that's why your exit route every year is getting earlier and earlier because now it's understand. Let's attack them off the dribble, get inside, spread them out. It's over for Utah.
And I hear a lot of teams saying that out of the top six that didn't have to go through the play-in, I see a lot of people saying the Jazz are going to be one of those 5 or 6 to fall out. And go into the play-in for next year. So, that's the Northwest.